What's up, guys? They were doing an interview with Donnie, who, how far are you into the program, Donnie? A couple of
I
weeks
think
or?
I'm like 3 weeks, maybe just shy of a month in the program. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So it's kind of early, but we're just hopping on a call today to kind of talk about
Mhm.
your experience, what's going right, what's going wrong. If you're happy with how it's going so far, spoiler alert, you are. And so we're just kind of ask about, your journey before you signed up with me and all that sort of cool stuff. So I guess we can just jump right into it. Like before you started working with me, kind of like, so obviously this is a dating program. What did your dating life kind of look like? How many dates were you going on? What quality women were you going on? What was kind of happening?
Well, I would say before I joined the program, uh, the dating was sparse. Um, the chicks weren't, bad people per se, because I do a pretty good job of discriminating from there based on, us talking. But last year I had maybe two dates or two girls that I dated, 3 or 4 dates at a time. One girl, maybe 7 or 8 dates, but we already talked about this. Protestant girls with commitment issues and then gaslighting and all that kind of stuff. So I told myself, I need to figure out what's happening here. Why am I attracting these kind of people over and over again? And I need to really deep dive, and that's when I found your program. It's an investment for sure, but it's much more than just, hey, look good in your photos. There's a lot of stuff in the classroom, mindset wise, that I've had to tweak a little bit. Um, Strategies in terms of talking to people, because nowadays you have to be direct without being, an ass. And we've
Yeah.
been trying to find that line of still the good Catholic gentleman, but being direct about what you want from a dating app perspective right away, so you get those dates instead of the talking stage for 3 weeks on the app.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And so you used online dating in the past before working with me. How many like matches that were good quality that you were excited to meet would you say you were getting like every single
Um,
week?
a week, probably one. Probably one. Yeah, that's just how it goes
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. And then when you were matching with these girls, like what usually happened? Did they ghost you? Were you able to get their number but not get onto a date? Like what happened there?
Usually, it was a combination of ghosting and then getting their number. You text them, yeah, okay, let me know. My schedule's kind of busy. So let's say yada yada yada. When I get back from work today, I'll know my schedule. Great, okay, let me know. We'll plan a date, and then nothing. So just
Okay.
advanced ghosting, I should say.
Advanced ghosting,
Advanced ghosting. Yeah.
complex ghosting. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I guess then we can kind of take it to kind of like where the program came into play. I guess what kind of made you want to, reach out to me for help? Because I think you saw one of my ads and then we
Mhm.
started talking. I guess what kind of prompted you to want to check me out?
Well, I could either listen to what this guy says. His video seems very legit. There's no get rich fast equivalent nowadays of get a girl worth your time that you're gonna marry and have a family with. So I watched the video. I thought about it for a few days, really reflected on it, and I said, "Well, this guy's Catholic too. It's not just some Christian dude, but he's an actual Catholic guy. And I love being Catholic, so I'm gonna hear this guy out and see what he says." And it worked.
Yeah, and then we got to
Mhm.
talking. I think I did a profile review. I looked at your online dating photos and I said
Mhm.
like, "Hey man, I could get you some way better photos and help you out." And then you hopped on the call. Did
Mhm.
you have any kind of like fear or hesitations before signing up that kind of came to your mind?
I've been scammed a lot in the past, so I was kind of like, this guy, he's real. He's not a robot. I can see his face. He's talking, but he's making some big, bold claims here. And from my perspective of dating in the DC area, where if you're not 6 foot, six figures, Giga Chad, so to speak, you're not going to get anything, right? So I was like, man, maybe this is exactly what I needed, some harsh realities. But I took a leap of faith, so to speak, and I haven't ever had to stray away from my Catholic roots to just fit in better. You've been pretty clear about you can't compromise and still be you can't completely compromise and still be authentic, because if you're just getting rid of what's you're nothing. And
Yeah.
that one was kind of the selling point of like, okay, this guy actually knows his stuff.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you have any kind of other fears or things pop up in your mind before signing up? Like, what if this doesn't work? Stuff like that.
No, I know it's gonna work. I'm impatient sometimes. I am that guy in my friend group. out of the several groups I'm in that I don't have anybody. But before in the doom and gloom cycle of like, yep, I'm gonna be that one Catholic guy at church who's in good shape and good everything else, but I don't have a wife. But nowadays with the program, it's changed my outlook of have patience, but still put in the work when you can and do your due diligence. Because like you said, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna meet them tomorrow or the next day or the week after that. It takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like what you said, where I'm not the guy who's like, oh, you're gonna get married in 1 month. It's more like, hey, you're gonna start meeting women within the
Mhm.
week, but your wife is probably gonna take, if we're just being honest, anywhere from 6 to 24 months. But the whole
Mhm.
goal of the program is to get you meeting women so that you have a flywheel of good connections so that
Yeah.
you can meet your wife. So I guess like what so obviously you join the program, we start doing stuff together. What kind of stuff that we worked on really stuck out to you of like, holy cow, this is really helping, and this is very high impact.
Keeping your written prompts simple. No word vomit. Like you have some good examples of people's profiles who are trying too hard, so to speak, trying to be different, putting everything out there and leaving nothing to imagination or nothing to conversation, really. Because I've always thought like, hey, put your best foot forward all the time, let them know who you are, but you have to have fun with it, and your answers have to be clever and simple, but still leave them guessing like, man, is like there has to be more to this guy. There's no way. So that kind of makes them talk more. So that was that one, and then just some of the mindset videos that you have in the folder, so to speak, the classroom. Just being true to yourself, being true to your Catholic faith. I know that we've talked about a lot of girls don't like it that I'm Catholic here for whatever reason, and you make it clear that like, well, they're not for you. Then don't change. Don't also only go for like the borderline nuns. Just go for normal people,
Yeah,
Catholic friendly or normie Catholics.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And obviously, we did a photo shoot together, to
Hmm.
get photos for your dating profile on your Instagram. What was that process? What was it like, and what did you think of the photos?
Great photos. I've never done a photo shoot before, so that was fun. Nelly was great. We had a good time in DC. It was hot. Wearing those sweaters and stuff was, definitely warm. But I was surprised at how well they turned out. I would say for people who are kind of hesitant or nervous about doing a photo shoot, just do it and have fun. I will say that's one of my biggest strengths is like I don't care to embarrass myself too much. Like I'll do it, and that's what made it fun. Is you're having to do this pose over and over again, and people laughing at you, and it's just a good time. So I know there's going to be guys who are like, I don't know about doing a photo shoot in public, man. Everyone's going to look at me. Don't worry about it. Your photographer's cool. They're going to have fun with you. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say is when you do your photo shoot, just be easy with it
Yeah.
and practice your
And
posing, like you said.
yeah, that's the cool part too, is I don't say like, oh, here's your photo shoot, go figure it out. We actually worked
Mhm.
together. I picked out the locations for you. I linked you up with my photographer that's trained locally. And then, I taught you posing. We picked out all the outfits, locations. I already said that, but it was kind of like I held your hand through the whole process. And then even
Yeah.
went as far as editing your photos, telling you what to put on your profile, and then helping you pick out your profile and what photos to use, what props to put, what bios to put, what settings,
Hmm.
and all that really good stuff. So on the topic of online dating, I guess how did one match per week and, two women in a year. I guess how has it looked for you now that it's only been 3 weeks? Like how many dates have you gone on? How many matches are you getting? That kind of
I'd
stuff.
say I have right now in like the their turn section on Hinge, I have 12 matches and I have probably like 20 something on Bumble.
Hmm.
Um, how many dates have I been on? 6 so far. But again, first dates, I haven't dated, I haven't been on a dating app in January, so I'm still a little, rusty, having a good time figuring it out. Again, not expecting, like you said, meet your wife tomorrow type thing.
Yeah.
But I actually do have a date Saturday with an actual Catholic girl, so that's
Hmm.
exciting. A Catholic doctor, even. So there you go.
Ooh.
That's a game changer right there, right? But
Yeah.
again, I was getting nowhere a year ago. Now I can actually kind of choose after texting them. Okay, I have options versus like, well, it's the only one I'm going to get this year. I might as well do it. Or
Hmm.
this week, you should say. You have the
Yeah.
ability to choose.
Yeah. And you said So you got like 6 dates, one, and seventh is on the calendar, and it sounds like you
Hmm.
got like around like 50 matches in 3 weeks,
Hmm.
which is awesome. Tell us about those first 5 dates, because I know you said actually Catholic is girl number 7. So were
Hmm.
these girls atheist or Hindu or Christian? What kind of happened
So
on those dates?
these were a lot of Christian girls, non-denominational. Um, some of them, well, two of them were Baptist, a Presbyterian girl, and their faith's important to them, just like ours is, and everyone in the group. But I think with a lot of people becoming more Christian, which is a good thing, obviously. A lot of folks are gravitating towards getting their information about certain denominations online, especially Catholicism, the OG. And there's a lot of misinformation there. So they believe what their friends and their family have been told by a pastor who, went to school for not even theology, but just like how to be a Baptist pastor or something. And there's always going to be the stigma of, oh, you Catholics do this, that, and the other. Why would I listen to you? Why should I change? And it's good practice for you on how to deal with conflict, you know, defending your faith, but not being militant about it, being peaceful
Yeah,
and listening to their concerns, like you listen to your wife about something. I say it's practice. If you get in a disagreement with them, it's just practice for later down the road how to handle it.
yeah, yeah,
And
100%.
they'll make it clear, like, yeah, you're cool and all, but you're Catholic. And I was like, okay, that's fine by me.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's funny because I actually tell guys, and we talked about this offline.
Hmm.
It's actually totally okay to go out with Christian girls and
Hmm.
non-denominational girls as long as they're traditional and conservative, like values wise. And then when it comes to religion, they're open to Catholicism. Like as long
Yeah.
as they're open to it and they're conservative, you can totally take that relationship in the right direction. I've even said before to my other guys, like dating super traditional Catholic girls can be really boring because
Yeah.
not, of course, we're keeping it chaste. Of course, we're chaste. So that's not what I mean when I say traditional girls aren't fun. But I mean like banter, talking about pop culture and stuff. A lot of times these traditional Catholic women, like super duper duper trad, you're not on the same level. So it's really awesome sometimes to talk to like cultural Catholics or Protestant girls and being able to have that connection of the traditional conservative values, but then lead them into Catholicism. Because my wife, I met her on Bumble. She was like the type of Catholic that was very conservative, but only went to mass like once or twice a year. So she wasn't like
Mm.
traditional Catholic,
Yeah.
but like obviously she was a super super fun girl to get to know, and now we're married. So yeah, it's a good time.
It looks
Um,
right.
yeah, and now you have this date on date number 7. I guess this is what I always try to tell guys, even if you have a bad date or 2 or 3, ultimately the goal of the program is to get you consistently meeting Christian or Catholic women with the
Mhm.
goal that you're going to go on your last first date within the next 1 to 2 years and have that last date be, your wife.
Mhm.
So do you feel like you're kind of on that trajectory? Do you feel pretty confident, or am I just kind of blowing smoke out of my ass?
No, I'm confident. That combined with doing more things in person. Like you said, you can't only rely on the apps. Doing more things in person, being active in my church as well, not just going to mass, weekly, but doing some community service and doing some, I think it's St. Augustine, the 30-year-old and older singles group, things like that. You can still practice the dating app stuff of how to talk, how to be a little bit of a flirt, but how to be direct and respectful still. You can still do all those things that you teach in the program in real life too. So it's important to know that you can't only rely on online. But nowadays, where it can be kind of I'll use the meme, scary to talk to women for the first time, a cold approach, how it can be like that. I'd say 60% online, 40% in person, but treat it the same interaction.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, because some people may not know, but my program, I cover 4 different ways to meet women. And so that's online dating apps, that's Instagram, social
Hmm.
events, and then speed dating events. So you're talking more about like the social events stuff.
Yeah.
Now, here's the fun question. Have you kind of like, are you still kind of cutting your teeth on online dating? Or it sounds like, no, it sounds like you have kind of started to delve into the social event aspect of trying to get dates.
Yeah,
So,
I need to. I need to do the social things more because I'm a goober, right? I'm a goofy guy. You can't really judge that from looking at my profile for 5 whole seconds. And I feel like even if someone is looks wise like out of your league, as long as you have a good, fun conversation, that's going to do a whole lot more than some crazy pickup line or complimenting someone's like some picture they have on their prompt or their profile. So again,
Hmm.
it's just building the confidence to have a good conversation. Don't try to impress them. Just be fun, have a good time. But when it does go well, make your intentions known. Hey, I want to see you again. What's your schedule look like? We should do something this day. That kind of
Hmm.
thing. And then the
Yeah.
speed dating thing, I've never done an event, so that'll be fun to do.
Yeah.
Like there's that candid thing you talk about in your group. I still need to set up a profile for that.
Yeah, there's in-person speed dating, there's virtual speed dating, and when you're in a pretty populated area, so those are both going to be pretty high yield. If you're in the middle of nowhere, then it's like okay, you're not going to have really any
Yeah.
speed dating events. But yeah,
Mhm.
I guess another thing too. Um, did you struggle at all with kind of texting before the program, and has that kind of helped you get better at getting numbers and planning dates?
Yeah, I always thought there was a rule to follow. Like hey, you've done this amount of messages. Now ask for the number straight up. Now it's the program's taught you more how to start lighthearted and fun, and then slowly but surely work when in a very small time frame to the phone number part without being like, yeah, here's a joke, haha, give me your phone number now. Because that's not going to work, right? But if you like your way, if you slowly make it to where you go from something on their profile funny, ha ha ha, to life work, we should meet up. What's your phone number? Makes it very simple.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something too that I think is really helpful is those kind of frameworks to follow so that you're being yourself, but you're also not wasting time and you're also not coming off as a creep. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
that perfect balance of don't be fake, but don't be creepy. And you have to strike
Yeah.
that balance. So obviously I have some frameworks to help you with that. So yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, man, I'm trying to think of any more questions I have for you. I guess like, is there anything else we did inside the program that you thought was just like super duper helpful that we haven't touched on already? And if nothing else comes to mind, that's okay because we've touched on it a lot.
I can't think of anything. I'm always going back to the classroom when I have free time. If I'm just sitting here recovering from food poisoning, I'll go back and read some stuff or watch some videos or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you've pretty much covered everything somebody would need to know who's hesitant or has some questions.
Yeah. For those of you watching, he had food poisoning today, so that's why he
Yeah,
says
I
that.
got fucked up.
Yeah. That's okay. Life trucks on.
Life
Cool.
does
I
truck
guess
on.
life trucks on. I guess like let's pretend there's a guy who's thinking of signing up for the program. He's about to hop on a call with me, but he's really kind of like worried, like just straight up, just brutal fucking honesty. What would you tell this guy about
It's an
joining the program?
investment. It's an investment. No joke, it is an investment. And you get in what you put out of it. So for me, I'm as the kids say, I'm a hopeless romantic, right? But I'm also a Catholic guy who's conservative. I do want to meet my significant other, and that can't just like you said in the video. It can't fall in your lap where you're just like, I'm gonna pray to God, she's gonna come. Oh, there she is. You have to do some work, right? So again, the photo shoot, getting yourself in shape, buying nice clothes, that's part of it, yes. But then also spending, your hour a day or whatever you do, max. Don't be on the apps ever, but a dedicated time frame of hey, for the next 15 minutes, whatever, I'm gonna do some serious dedication to this, and then follow up with these girls. Did you like the first date? No? Okay, tell them straight up, or they'll tell you. You know. But again, an investment. It does require work from you, but that's the good part about it. Everything that's worth having is worth working for. Everything is, and this is one of those things where if you want that in your eyes, if you want that 10 out of 10 Catholic chick, you know, like gift from God, so to speak, you have to work really hard for it. And this program definitely gives you the blueprint to work hard, but not making it easy for you, so to speak, but giving you a good place to get your confidence back to battle the epidemic of 2025 online dating.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I like how you frame that because just because you sign up for the program doesn't instantly mean all of your problems are solved.
No.
I give you the solutions, but you
Hmm.
have to actually put the fucking work in. Because
Yeah.
every now and then, like 1 in 100 guys that I work with, they come in and they're like, okay, I got this photo shoot and I'm getting a million matches, but why does my texting suck or why does my dating suck? And it's like it's because like you actually have to, I have videos and coaching calls and stuff that can help you out, but you have to keep working and keep improving. So what I always tell guys is kind of like what we already talked about, so I'm repeating myself, but like we help you first by meeting a ton of women. Okay,
Hmm.
now that's taken care of. Now you have to get these women on dates. Okay, now you have to have really fun dates and be able to know, like, is this girl my type or not? And then from there you have to build a really solid relationship and then take it until you break up or get engaged. And so it's kind of like just repeating this cycle. So the whole point of this program is to tell you exactly what to do. Then you do the work. And as long as you don't quit, because the only way to lose is to quit. As long as you don't quit, you're going to meet your wife in the next 12 to 24 months. And for me, it took 13 months. I actually just had a guy in the program get engaged, and it took him 2 months inside the program
That's
to meet
crazy.
his fiance. So that's not average. That's not average. 1 to 2
Hmm.
years is average. But yeah, man. Well, yeah. Thanks, Donnie. Really nice having you on the call today.
Hmm.
I guess I can end with this. If any of you are watching this and are like, "Hey, is this guy legit? Does this program work?" Hopefully, this has cleared that up for you. You can book a call with me in the description of this video, or DM me on Instagram at RealTradChad if you want to ask me some more questions. So, thank you so much for hopping on the channel, Donnie. I'm
Of
going to let you
course.
go. God bless.
Yes, sir. God bless. Be good.